Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Huddle. Scott Taylor, John Mackey. It's another week of football, and we have a mixed bag show today. Okay, we've got Christian Ignacio, our brand new writer for the Huddle. Great stuff.
Yeah, very good writer.
Tremendous stuff. Former quarterback at Kelvin, now a UW student. He's just done a great job for us. We have Rick Hankiewicz, the commissioner of the Winnipeg High School Football League. It's great to have Rick on. You're going to interview Rick.
Yes.
You're going to do that.
That's right.
We have Shahab Valipur on. Shahab, an assistant coach at Churchill, lots of changes at Churchill.
Yeah.
And also one of those, the horn guys at all the Bison games.
Right.
You know, one of the big Bison. He was the great cheerleader. When he played football at Churchill, he was still the school spirit guy in every possible way. Played on a rugby championship team at Churchill.
Wow.
And now he's the school spirit guy at the U of M. So we'll have Shahab on. And then it's CFL time. Your good friend, Buck Pierce, and your good friend, Donovan Alexander.
That's right.
And great talkers and smart guys, and we'll have Buck and
have
Donovan.
A lot of good ties to the Winnipeg as well.
Yes, they do. Well, they're both Winnipeggers now officially.
Yeah.
Officially, because Buck's been pegged.
That's right.
Buck has been pegged. Anyway, we're going to talk to Buck and Donovan. We're going to talk to Shahab Valipur. We're going to talk to Rick Hankiewicz, and talk to Christian Ignacio coming right up. This is The Huddle. Scott Taylor, John Mackey. Stay with us. We are Football in Manitoba, community created right here on Shaw TV. Welcome back to The Huddle. Scott Taylor, Christian Ignacio, the former quarterback of the Kelvin Clippers. We had another quarterback day. But now a student at the University of Winnipeg.
Yes.
And my employee. Well, kind of free employee, but still doing a wonderful job on The Huddle, writing about high school stars, high school players. Christian, thanks for joining us because I was thrilled when I talked to Ryan Carhut, and he said that Christian wanted to write for the magazine. Your stuff has been tremendous. Why did you decide to do it, and how have you lasted so long?
Well, that's a good question. I'm just playing. No, I've had quite a bit of experience writing. It's always been something that's been a passion for me. I've written at a couple places online, doing stuff about the NFL draft, and high school football's fun, and it's just something that's exciting to me, and getting to talk to the next wave of young athletes is just exciting. So.
Tell us about your career. I know we talked before, but tell us about your career. Let's go back to the beginning. When did you start playing football? And tell us about your years at Kelvin.
It was my grade 7 year. I played Crestwood Grizzlies, and I was kind of all over, kind of a utility guy. So, I mean, I got experience playing a bunch of different positions, so that was exciting. And, I went to Kelvin. Near the end of my career, I'd say the grade 11 year was a little rough. We had a rough go in AAA, but we bounced back in the Cass-Frederick division. We beat our rivals, Grant Park, and came out on top, so that was exciting.
I have some wonderful pictures that have been sent to us by Glenn Dixon, photos by Fitz, of you handing off to Liam Heim. It was you were very modest about the picture, but the reality is you were his quarterback, and now you get to write about him. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was exciting. I mean, Liam Haim's been a tremendous player. Started in grade 9 for Kelvin, and he's just been. I mean, in our article there, he called himself the wrench, and I thought that was pretty fitting. He does everything, so he's one of those guys that. He can, run, throw, he can block if need be. He's a big body, and it was cool because he's going to UBC and getting to talk to Sean Olson at UBC, and he's excited. They have some plans for him.
Did you ask him if he was looking for a quarterback?
Yeah, well, he was pretty down to earth about questions and stuff like that, and he says they're pretty excited to use Liam. They brought him out for a visit, and they're looking to use him at the H position.
He's a big dude too.
He's a big guy, yeah. So they're excited. I mean, a guy like that, he said, getting a guy that's pieced together like that, at basically 18 years old, that's exciting for their program. So
tell us what you're doing now, and what you kind of plan to do in the future.
I'm currently at the U of W. I got into the Faculty of Education, so I'm starting off there and just kind of getting my feet wet with a bunch of different courses and just, I haven't really set a plan per se. I'm just taking things and just we'll see where it goes from there.
I look at somebody who's in education and I think, what did football mean to you during your high school years, and what does it set you up for now?
Well, football has been one of those things that's it's always been there. It's excitement. You look forward to going through your days at school to get on the practice field. Hopefully down the line, maybe I'll be on the other end of that coaching one day. That'd be exciting. And it's been something. It teaches you discipline, respect, and I think when you're suiting up with your friends, in high school football for these other guys, it's exciting. It's lots of fun.
I think the last piece you did was Sam Blakely.
Right. Yeah.
And we left that. And kind of, I like an editor, I shoved it at you and said, okay, go do whatever you want to next. What do you got coming up? What are you going to do? And Bryson McNeil is a great story.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. Yeah, hopefully we can get in touch with that. There's a couple of guys I'm looking forward to the Senior Bowl. I think there's a nice a good group of talented guys that are coming up, especially this graduating year. So there's a couple guys that I'm kind of looking forward to talking to, and hopefully we'll write a couple pieces on them moving forward.
Terrific. When you were here before, we didn't play 10 questions.
No.
So we're going to play 10 questions when we come back with the newest writer with the Huddle and the Huddle magazine. Christian Dignazio, the former quarterback of the Kelvin Clippers, will be back to play 10 questions right after this. This is the Huddle, community created on Shaw TV. Welcome back to the Huddle, the most fun we can possibly have in like 2.5 minutes. We're going to play 10 questions. We're going to play it with Christian Dignazio, the latest writer of the Huddle and a former quarterback with the Kelvin Clippers. You ready?
Yes, ready to go.
The last time you were on, you were just a young high school QB, and now you're an adult. So we're going to play adult 10 questions. Favorite sport other than football? So if you're going to come to me and you want to write something else, what would it be?
The other football, soccer.
Is it? Wow, good for you. Favorite sports team?
Indianapolis Colts.
I have a son-in-law who likes the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh,
He's
good.
from Indianapolis. Your favorite athlete?
Well, keeping up with that, Andrew Luck.
And not Peyton Manning.
Well, I respect Peyton. He's a legend. But as it stands right now, current player Andrew Luck.
Favorite music style?
Kind of diverse, but probably punk rock. Yeah.
Man of my own heart. Who do you like the best?
Oh, that's a tough question. I'd say sticking with my roots, probably Blink-182. Growing up with
Boy,
them.
that's roots. That's great. Blink.
Yeah.
Outstanding stuff. I remember going to see Saves the Day and Under Oath and Taking Back Sunday.
That's a good cover. Yeah.
Great cover bands. Favorite entertainer? Comic, singer, individual entertainer.
I'll keep it with Blink, I guess. Tom DeLonge from Blink.
Absolutely. Favorite movie of all time?
Donnie Darko.
It's funny. I went to a movie the other day, and the young girl who they wear at the Cineplex on their name tags their favorite movie or the movie that made them love movies.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Favorite TV show?
The Huddle.
The Huddle. Good. Good choice. No problem. You're in education now. I'm going to ask you this question. Your favorite subject in school at university?
Well, love writing, so English.
Man of my own heart. The most influential person in your life?
Ooh, tie between mom and dad.
Perfect. Answered that one right. Let's see if you can get number 10.
Okay.
Betty or Veronica?
Betty, easy.
That won't make Veronica happy, but obviously good for you. And we've got a couple of Veronicas here. We've got Michelle on camera. We've got Rebecca in the back. Veronica's everywhere. Thanks. You're a good sport, and I love your stuff.
Thank you very much.
It's been tremendous. Made the Huddle much, much better. Christian Dignazio, the latest writer for the Huddle and former quarterback of the Kelvin Clippers. When we come back, we got lots more. This is the Huddle. We are football in Manitoba, community created right here on Shaw TV.
Welcome back to the Huddle. I'm John Mackey here with the commissioner of the WHSFL. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
how about we start off with the MS Playing for a Purpose and what you guys are going to be doing this year with that.
It's going to be really interesting. Last year was the first time we did this. As you know, you and Kelly Butler were pretty active in all this. And Kelly Butler called me, met me with your boss, Donna. And this year we've actually decided to expand the whole concept. And we've taken it into what I think is a really good direction, because what we're going to do is we're going to play on a Wednesday, a Thursday, and a Friday. The Wednesday, we're going to play in Kenora. So we'll have Kenora play, hopefully, another team from Northwest Ontario, either Dryden or Fort Francis. That'll work out perfect, develop a little rivalry, let the towns build it up, proceeds going to MS and to WHSFL. That'll be good. Thursday, we're playing in Brandon. So Crocus is going to host the game,
Okay.
and we're going to play another Brandon team in Brandon. Let those two schools go at it.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to bring up the rivalry between schools, but it's going to bring in a lot of different type of revenue for MS and expose MS to a whole different level.
The awareness to MS
exactly.
disease and
exactly.
and trying to find a cure all in together.
And the beautiful thing is, well, we'll finish on the Friday. The Friday, we're going to do a doubleheader. So Dakota and Vincent Massey, who played last year, will play again, but they'll play two different teams. So we'll have 4 AAA teams that are playing on the Friday in that game. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But we're really looking forward to it. I think the big thing is one, Kenora, especially after they did that quarterfinal game last year and the success they had in hosting in that.
Yeah.
When I talked to Chris Penner, he's just excited.
Right on.
Just excited. And I think he's going to really push this quite hard. But the beauty of that will be the NFL guys coming in will be there. We'll be doing the pep rallies in those schools, in those towns.
Yeah.
You know, so Kenora's going to end up with these guys in town and everything else. Brandon's going to end up with these guys in town.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a great deal.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, you tie in any type of educational institution to the sport and raising awareness for a good cause and stuff. It's going to be a great event, just like last year's event.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad that, you know, the WHSFL has decided to bolster that and you know, also, you know, do as much as they can to for the MS Society. So.
Well, you know, it's the MS Society. I mean, we've made the commitment. We made the commitment last year to work with charities, MS Society, Ronald McDonald House, and with the Breast Cancer Foundation. And we're going to continue doing that. We think it's a great cause. More important, you touched on it, it brings the educational side into it, and it lets our guys see what the other side of life is. You know, and it introduces them to stuff, and the more people we get involved, the better it is.
Well, you're a busy guy, and I think we have a couple of minutes here to spend on where we're at with the Senior Bowl, because that's a major event that everybody's always pumped to see. The last time that these seniors get to play with their helmets of their schools.
Yeah.
When are we planning on running it?
May 24th. It's the weekend after the May long weekend. And this year's two games are Elmwood, who, by the way, won their first championship in 55 years.
Elmwood, that's great.
So we're bringing back the original Elmwood jerseys, the white with the green trim, and Grant Park.
Ooh, right.
So we're going to bring back those really, really old, ugly Argonaut jerseys.
Oh, come on, they're not ugly. Hey, throwback always has that nice little flavor to it, right?
They do.
It gives a tradition back. You're bringing back the alumni of the programs.
Yeah, and Grant Park back in the 60s and 70s wore these baby blues, and so we're going to bring those jerseys back for them. So we're looking forward to it. We'll be meeting in April. We'll start the process going with the selections and everything else. We have been approached. The Bombers really want to get back into this and more involved. They're giving us their coaching staff to work within two staffs. So for the graduating kids, it's awesome. They get to work with the Bomber staff. You know, so I think that's going to be really well. Bison staff, you'll be out there with the Bison coaches.
As always.
You know, so I think it's going to be a really good deal.
It's always a good event. The Senior Bowl, I really look forward to it every single year that you guys do it. And again, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Bigger and better. It's become a showcase game for our league.
Absolutely.
We know that scouts do come in for this now and everything else. So we're really happy. We think it's great.
Lots going on with the WHSFL. This is the commissioner, Rick Hankowicz.
Frank.
And I'm John Mackey.
I'm offended now.
Sorry,
now I'm
Rick
Frank.
Hankowicz. Again, this is the Huddle, community created on Shaw TV.
Welcome back to the Huddle. Scott Taylor, along with my favorite Iranian football coach, Shahab Valipur, the assistant coach of the Churchill Bulldogs. And Shahab, we have had you on this show before.
Yes.
But let's reintroduce you.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you became a football player and then a football coach. So let's go back to the beginning, the young man from Iran who came to Canada to learn football.
Okay. You know, I came from Iran 2011, and I started with Coach Walls the same year at Churchill, but I was on the bench in 2011. I was learning about football all the time. And then I got play 2012 season, and I played in Senior Bowl, and Coach Walls.
That's a big step to go from 2011 sitting on the bench, never played before,
Yes.
to 2012 playing the Senior Bowl.
Yes. And then Coach Walls sent me to the camp, winter camps, and I learned a lot of things there. That was in U of M, and I played for Senior Bowl. Now, they told me come back be assistant coach and help us. I said, for sure, I love to do that actually. And I went back and helped Churchill all the time. But you know, this year we had a huge change at Churchill. A lot of kids graduate, and our most linemen graduate. But we keep it up. We played in AAA with a lot of pride and tradition. And this year we did 0-7. Yes.
0-7.
0-7.
But you developed some new young players.
Yes.
This young Bryson McNeil looks like a good football
Yes. Oh my God. Because most of our players from grade 9 and 10, and I'm sure I'm looking forward to that team for next year because they are getting bigger and going to the next level, and they're going to be grade 10 and 11. And probably, I'm not sure, maybe we are going to the AA next year, and we are going to do really better. And always I'm talking with Coach Hawash every day about players. We are inviting some players to our team, and we are going to use them. And
you have changes coming at Churchill.
Yes, a lot of changes. Our principal got changed, and she's vice principal of Kelvin right now. And Coach Walls, our head coach, said he's leaving too, and that's a huge change for me because he wasn't only coach for me. He was my best friend too. He helped me a lot, and I believe him. I like his reason because he should spend time with his family. You know, that's 3 years, and he lives in Oakbank. He's too far, and he's getting home every night at around 12 or 1. Yeah, it's too hard. And you know, coaching's
very difficult job.
Yes, difficult job.
Coaching's hard.
Because when I was playing, I said, oh, coaching is not hard. That's easy. When I get into it, oh my God. After the practice, we have meeting all the time. But I quit some meeting, actually escaped some meeting all the time because I had class next day. But they were staying and talking about players, who's going to play. And that's hard, actually. And it's too much pressure on coaches. You know, when you're losing, coach is going to get nervous and angry, but they're controlling themselves, and we are going to the locker room with a smile and everything, and we are not going to show our real face to them, but for encouraging our player.
You're at the University of Manitoba now.
Yes.
And I think I've seen you at a couple of events with those big horns on.
Yes, that's right, actually. Okay,
You're a super fan at Churchill.
Yes.
Are you now a super fan with the Bisons?
Okay, everyone's asking that, actually. I'm super fan of Churchill. Okay, Churchill is in my heart, but you know, we are growing up. We are going to the university. We should evolve to university and help our university too. And I'm in the Bighorns group. We are going cheering for all the teams, sport teams like football, hockey, and everything. And when I saw them, their spirit, oh my God, they're awesome. They are awesome. And they make this group this year, and they are really popular right now in the university.
You like that stuff, don't you?
Yes, I love them, actually.
Shahab Valapur, assistant coach, Churchill Bulldogs. Lots of changes coming up at Churchill next year. One is you're probably going to play in AA football. It'll be better for you.
Yes, it will be better. And we will come back soon
Thanks so
to
much.
AAA.
Super fan, a Bighorn member at the University of Manitoba, and assistant coach at Churchill. When we come back, we got a whole lot more. This is The Huddle. Thanks, Shahab.
Thank you so much.
We're a community created right here on Shaw TV.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Huddle. Scott Taylor along with Donovan Alexander. Safety with the Edmonton Eskimos. You've had a very remarkable football career when you consider where you started. It's a story that I think is basically awe-inspiring for people. You were a variety kid. And people who don't know about Variety, it's the children's charity, and without Variety, a lot of young people wouldn't have normal lives at all. Tell us your story with Variety, because I know you still do a lot of work with Variety now.
Right. At the age of 18 months, doctors discovered I was born with 2 aortas, something that was extremely rare and not many doctors had a lot of experience dealing with. Variety Manitoba stepped in right away. They were able to get a specialist from Toronto to come in, perform the surgery. But I think
that's not cheap.
Exactly, that's not cheap, and you know, they were able to take care of everything for me. And I think what my parents remember mostly is someone from Variety always being at my parents' side and kind of keeping them up to date with what's going on, my progress, how everything's going. And my parents never really forgot that, and I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for Variety. And that's what Variety does.
Well, you probably wouldn't have survived.
Exactly. Doctors predict I probably wouldn't have made it past the age of 3 if I didn't have the surgery. So Variety gave me a chance at a life. So I feel like I owe my life to Variety.
You've come a long way with that life, because you're a toddler, a baby, basically born with 2 aortas. One was wrapped around your windpipe, so you couldn't breathe properly. Without that surgery, yes, you probably would have died, but say something goes wrong, or say they save you and you keep going, you're not going to have the life that you have now because it was strangling your windpipe. I mean, the reality of this is you've come an awful long way from the age of 18 months.
Exactly. I mean, my parents at the time were probably just happy to have me alive. They didn't think any of this with my athletic, abilities would ever come into existence. I mean, they were just happy to have me back home and safely. And doctors even warned my parents that maybe I would wouldn't be able to keep up with some of the other children, and just to kind of keep me contained, keep me calm, basically, as a young kid. Yeah, exactly, keep me safe. But I mean, once I got home and once I grew up, I didn't even notice the difference if my parents hadn't told me. And I just took a liking to sports, and I just wanted to be active.
Yeah, but that's
all
a heck
day,
of a
every day.
specialist, isn't it?
It
Was
is.
able to give you that life?
It is. I mean, it's Dr. Kim Duncan, and ironically, his daughter and I, we grew up playing hockey together. He moved to Winnipeg after the surgery, and
Wow.
still in contact with him. So yeah, it's been a great relationship.
And you went a long way. You played some hockey. You played a lot of football. Tell us a little bit about your background. When did you start playing football? And what did your parents think when you decided you were going to be a football player after all of this?
Well, my parents realized from early age they couldn't stop me. I was going to play every single sport. I mean, I even played gymnastics. I mean, it was me and a bunch of girls, and I still wanted to do gymnastics. I did, hockey, basketball, football. I did everything. I started football when I was about 9 years old for the Charleswood Broncos, and just fell in love with the sport. Just the emotions that you get after making a big play and celebrating with your teammates. There was nothing comparable to me in any other sport. I just took a real liking to football.
You went from the Charleswood Broncos to St. Paul's High School, St. Paul's Crusaders, and then from there, University of North Dakota. Tell us about that and how you got there. Because that's a big jump. Not a lot of Canadian kids get that opportunity to play at Division I school.
Exactly. It was a really big transition. You would think it's just, 2 hours down the highway, but it's a completely different culture. I mean, you go there and it's all pickup trucks and country music, basically, and that was a huge change for me. And the game is completely different. Now you're switching to 4-down football, smaller field, different rules. But I actually found the biggest transition was after getting used to the American game was to come back now to the Canadian game with all the motions and the extra player
Right,
in the bigger field.
sure.
That was was more challenging
Tougher
for me.
read?
Exactly. Much tougher read for that.
That's really interesting because everybody talk about how big the National Football League and is bigger, stronger guys, but just reading the offenses playing as a defensive player is tougher in the Canadian game.
Right, especially for my position, even now as a free safety when you have to make all the adjustments.
Because you were a corner, right?
Exactly. I started out as a corner and then moved to free safety in Montreal, and then just making all the adjustments and all the checks and everything like that. It was just a lot harder coming from the American game.
You've been around the league now for 7 years, 6 years?
Going into my 7th.
Going into your 7th season. What's changed since you walked into the league?
You know what? It might sound a little cliche, but I've become more of a professional. Just because you're in the
I know what you're
CFL
saying, yeah.
doesn't mean you're a professional. Now, I thought I could just, take my talents and go in and play, but then when you get to that level, everyone's talented, everyone's athletic, everyone's good at what they do. So, it's the extra film study, it's the extra weight training, it's attention to detail, really. Because when you think about it, the average career in pro sports is about 2.5 years.
That's right.
So you have to do something to differentiate yourself from the norm if you want to have a long career in the CFL. And that's what I learned actually my first couple of years, is you have to be a professional and take your job seriously.
Donovan Alexander, a professional. You're going to come back in the next couple of weeks. We want to do this again. I want to talk to you more about playing in the CFL.
Absolutely, love to.
Donovan Alexander, former St. Paul's Crusader, former University of North Dakota Fighting Sioux cornerback, now with the Edmonton Eskimos. We'll have Donovan back in the next couple of weeks. This is The Huddle. It's community created right here on Shaw TV. Welcome back to The Huddle. Scott Taylor with the quarterback of the British Columbia Lions, former Blue Bomber quarterback, but still a Winnipegger because he's been pegged. Buck Pierce, welcome. It's great to have you on the show.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's great to have you here.
It's always good to be here.
When you left Winnipeg, you looked like a man in shock. I mean, you just didn't look like Buck Pierce to me when you had to rush out the door and catch a plane and go to BC. You've had a few months to reflect. Tell us about what went down and how you feel about it now.
Well, so many emotions. Obviously, I was in a bad situation with how things, started in 2013, and it wasn't a great situation for me. It wasn't a great situation that the team was in, and there was a lot of finger pointing going on, and a lot of things that made going to work tough. The decision was made to ship me out, and at the time, you kind of, don't really know what's going to happen.
That's right.
It's pretty shocking. You always in the back of your head, you're always wondering, will I be traded? Will I be released? That's just the job that we live in, and that's our world. But when it happens, it's very, very unexpected. The next day I was doing the press conference at the stadium, and then I was on a flight that night.
You looked shell-shocked in that press conference.
Well,
it's like you kind of knew,
Yeah.
but when it happens, it's like bang.
I think a lot of people were like that. You know, a lot of my teammates were there at the press conference as well, and I mean we went through a lot in those 4 years. You know, obviously
You went to a Grey Cup.
Yeah, and not all great times, but some tough times as well, and you really develop relationships within your peers and within the city. So I went out to BC, to a place that I was familiar with, and really enjoyed it.
Well, when you got the chance to
Yeah.
play, you put up some very, very good numbers. I'm going to ask you this bluntly.
Yep.
Did it have to do with the amount of time you had to throw and run the offense? Because I always thought in Winnipeg, you never had enough time. When you went to BC, they blocked for you and you hit receivers. It's a funny game how that is when you have time to throw.
There's always going to be, with the quarterback position, they're going to say, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. But anybody that knows football, it's not just one player. It's everybody. It's scheme. It's the way that your offense is constructed. But obviously, if you're not winning, all the finger pointing is going to go at the quarterback, and we all understand that. You know what? I went to a place to where they had identity as an offense.
Yep.
Everyone was on the same page. I'm not saying that athletes are better at either place or worse. Everybody that plays football at that level is extremely talented.
Yeah.
I think it was just a matter of the situation and the mindset of those individuals and where that organization was at the time.
Do you have fond remembrances of Winnipeg, or are you just glad it was over?
Extremely fond memories. I walked down the street here with my head held extremely high, and people will always have their criticisms of me, and that's fair. That's the
job you chose.
Yeah, I choose that. I'm proud to live here and proud to have worn that jersey for the 4 years that I did, and be a part of a legacy and history in this city. So I'm proud of my accomplishments and wish I could have done more in that organization. But now I'm still playing football, and I'm with a different team, and I have the opportunity to lead that team to another Grey Cup, like we did in 06.
I have one question for you. You're marrying a Winnipeg girl. You have a business here in Winnipeg. Is this home now?
Winnipeg is home, yeah. I always remind my fiance that we do have a home in the Southwest,
True, yeah.
And
we don't have to shovel snow all the time.
Yeah. So if we ever get sick of shoveling snow, one weekend, then we can head back down south. But I'm extremely comfortable here. I do have a business here. My friends and family are here, and I think that's important to have. I've always said in the profession of professional sports, stability is something that's extremely hard to come by. So when you find a place that you're comfortable with and you enjoy living, it's important to set down roots.
You gonna come back next week?
Yeah.
Come back and do the show next week.
Yeah.
This has been too much fun. We got more to talk about.
Yeah.
They're giving me this sign.
I'm available.
We're out of here.
So go ahead, yeah.
Buck Pierce will be back with us next week. Buck Pierce, quarterback, British Columbia Lions, former quarterback, BC, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He did wear that jersey. We're coming back. We got lots more here on The Huddle. It's community created on Shaw TV. Welcome back to The Huddle. Like my hat?
You're the grand poobah of the Water Buffalo Club.
Oh, and Flintstones. Yes, that's what it looks like.
Just figured that out.
Yeah, the Grand Poobah. Actually, this is a gift from Shahab. These are the horn guys.
I love it.
Big horn fans at all the Bison games.
Bisons.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm now a big horn guy,
I can't stop laughing.
I suppose. John Mackey, Scott Taylor, this is The Huddle. I promise I won't wear this hat next week, but please come back and join us. We will be back next week. We are Football in Manitoba, community created right here on Shaw TV. Good night, everybody.